Hi, my name is Karrie Shogren. I'm from the Kansas University Center on Disabilities, or KUCD. I'm the director of KUCD and a professor in the Department of Special Education. And on behalf of the entire team at KUCD, I'm excited to be here with you today, sharing some information on the Goal Setting Challenge app, or the GSC app. We developed the GSC app to support self-determination through technology. Thanks to CIDL, or the Center for Innovation, Design, and Digital Learning, for inviting us to be here and for giving us this opportunity to share more with you about why supporting self-determination through technology is critical to support students with disabilities and enhance their outcomes. I'll first start by sharing that what we mean by self-determination when we're talking about promoting self-determination. So when we talk about self-determination, we're thinking about how we support people to act or cause things to happen as they set and work towards goals in their lives. Think about how important it is to have goals for your future, to work on plans to achieve them, and those feelings that you get when you're able to make progress and take steps towards your goals. But we don't always get the supports to learn how to break down those steps to take actions towards our goal. And that's one of the things that we really try to address through the GSC app and through other ways that we're supporting students to grow in their self-determination. Now, why is this important? Why do we focus on this? Because we know that promoting self-determination can really lead to positive outcomes for all students, including students with disabilities. We know that during K-12 education, and especially during high school and that transition to adulthood, that promoting self-determination can really build and enhance outcomes for students. We know that higher self-determination is linked to increased academic and transition outcomes while students are in school. We also know that it contributes to more positive post-school outcomes, such as access to post-secondary education, competitive integrated employment, and participating and being a part of your community as a young adult and throughout adulthoods. So self-determination really builds some of these critical skills, abilities, and beliefs that are so important to support young people to grow in these skills and abilities. We've been really lucky at KUCD over time to support the development of the self-determined learning model of instruction, or the SDLMI. This is an instructional model that teachers can use to break down and teach students that process of identifying goals that matter to them, coming up with action plans, and then really evaluating and thinking about, what have I learned? What do I want to do next? What are other goals that I want to be working on? So the SDLMI is a teacher-delivered instructional model that has a whole series of lessons, materials for students, ways to embed this into transition planning, into inclusive academic classrooms. And so there's a lot of research that really suggests that the SDLMI can really be a way to enhance those transition outcomes for students. So the SDLMI, what it does is it breaks down this process of identifying goals that matter to you, going after them, and learning from that. The SDLMI is delivered in 3 phases. First, students are supported to really think about what goal they want to be working on, what's important to them. Then they learn those steps to come up with that action plan and test out how to navigate around problems they encounter, how to advocate for the things that they need. And then they really reflect on what they've learned. And then again, cycle back through this process of, what's the next goal in the goal sequence that I want to be working on? And again, teachers can embed this throughout their curriculum across subject areas, content areas, and grade levels. And we've found a lot of impact on those positive outcomes that we already identified. But one of the things that we at KUCD, and in working with teachers and students and others, really started thinking about a few years ago is, how could technology support the SDLMI and students and their teachers to engage more in goal setting? So the question became, could we develop some type of an app or a technology-based support that could deliver some of these same ideas and strategies that teachers had been doing, but through technology? And this could address potentially some of the barriers that we often hear about, time constraints for having time to prepare the lessons and deliver materials through the SDLMI. Also, students can really benefit from some of those personalized and individualized supports, as well as feedback from these technology systems that can be integrated. And we knew that delivering the SCLMI through computer-based supports had shown some impacts in earlier work. So we really wanted to think about, well, can we develop something? And that turned into the Goal Setting Challenge app. So here's just a little bit of an overview of the iterative development model that we implemented over several years. You see, we started with really an iterative development process and talking to students as well as their teachers about what they would want out of an app, what would be engaging, what kind of activities, what kind of feedback, what would the look and feel of that be? And we worked to develop a prototype and kind of make this app come to life. We then did a lot of usability and feasibility testing. What features were critical? How could we support teachers to know how to use this in their classroom? Developing a user's guide. What data were we able to collect through the app that we could better understand the fidelity of its implementation and how students were engaging with it? And then we did a small trial trying to look at what are the impacts of the GSC app on outcomes. And we found that it could be delivered in classrooms with students and that students showed improvement in their goal, that transition goal attainment that we were focused on. So this really provided us with a lot of critical information that let us develop this GSC app and make it into something that was fully developed and ready for ongoing use by students and in schools. So the GSC app is 14 lessons. And you see some screenshots here on the screen about what this looks like, those characters and some of the activities that were co-designed with students. So there's a couple of introductory lessons where you kind of talk about self-determination and some of these key terms, what the SDLMI process is. And then the rest of the lessons are organized around those phases of the SDLMI that you saw on an earlier slide, where students work on setting goals. They learn about long-term and short-term goals in different ways that they can break their goals down. They talk about making plans and learn about how they can build action plans and monitor their progress on those plans. And then they evaluate and they figure out, did I reach my goal? Or do I want to set a new goal? Or do I need to adjust my goal a little bit? Maybe it was, too big and I want to break it down further. Or was my goal great, but really my action plan wasn't very easy to implement and I need to try again? And so that's really what the GSC app looks like and how we really learned from teachers and students as we were building it. Some of the key aspects of the GSC app are it is brief. Students go through each of these lessons in about 15 to 30 minutes. It can be integrated around other instructions. Students can do this at various time points during the day. There really are a lot of student-led activities. Some of the student characters walk and guide students through a lot of the different activities. They use examples from their lives, which we created with students. It's a cyclical process, so students can use the GSC app over and over as they're going through their education, setting new goals, reflecting on the progress that they made in the past, building and tracking what they've learned. There is a teacher dashboard as well, so teachers can log in and see what students are saying and doing and provide them with more targeted supports and feedback based on how students are engaged. Students can also go in, or teachers, and print reports of the goals that they're setting in the GSC app to take these to IEP or other meetings that they might be having so that they can share more information about their goals. They can access a whole range of accessibility features built directly into the app, as well as there's a lot of data collected and available to really look at how long are students engaging in certain activities. What are the quality of the responses that they're providing when they're speaking or recording their responses to some of the SDLMI student questions, which can really tell us a lot about supports that we need to enhance fidelity to student engagement, to teacher supports and other areas. So lots of exciting, cool features. And so I've shared a lot about the app with you, but I want to share some of the other things that we've heard from teachers and students as they've used the app. So let me share this video with you next, where you'll hear a little bit more from some of those teachers and students.
The Goal Setting Challenge app, or GSC app, is an innovative technology-based approach for teaching goal setting and attainment skills to youth with and without disabilities. The GSC app builds on the evidence-based self-determined learning model of instruction, also called the SDLMI. The app takes the SDLMI, a teacher-facilitated approach, and allows students to take charge of their own goal-setting process. As students move through the app, they learn about setting goals, developing action plans, monitoring their progress, and making decisions about changing their goals as needed. Incorporating high-quality functional design, the app promotes an individualized learning experience to help ensure students stay connected and complete lessons within the app. Since students enjoy learning from their peers, the instruction within the app is largely delivered by student characters. Teachers can print student and parent-friendly detailed reports to make database decisions related to transition planning, individualized education program development or IEP development, and progress monitoring. To ensure the GSC app is user-friendly and meets the needs of both teachers and students, the app was developed with teacher and student input and can benefit students with and without disabilities. Let's hear what teachers and students have to say about the GSC app.
I think it was really good to help them make these goals and try to attain them and see that they can learn how to break them down into smaller steps so that this one big goal doesn't seem impossible. It was really user-friendly and was age-appropriate.
Students become self-directed learners.
I loved it when students created their own goals.
I think it allowed them to laser focus on a goal and learn how to dig into the details of success.
One student actually found a job by using the app. His goal was to get a job, and he followed the steps to get one.
Students also had a lot to say about their experience in the app.
The lesson kept moving and going, so it wasn't boring.
Takes you step by step to help you.
I like how it gives you tips about setting goals.
I like the questions that are being answered. I like who reviews everything you learned. I like that it reads to me.
So it's really exciting to hear some of the things that the teachers and the students were saying about the app. And we're really excited to get the GSC app out and to continue to learn from teachers and students about its implementation in schools. We're really excited that we have a current research project that we're working on. We're really trying to learn much more about what it looks like when teachers, students, and schools use the GSC app, as well as look at how that relates to when teachers are using the SDLMI and doing that teacher-led instruction, or when they're really not doing any targeted self-determination instruction and really just doing assessments to support transition outcomes. And so this project is really looking at those three groups: a transition assessment group that's just doing transition assessments to inform IEP planning. Some teachers are using the SDLMI with students, and some students are using the GSC app. So we're working with 45 schools, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students with disabilities and their teachers. And this is happening during transition classes or other instruction time. And so we're working with cohorts of schools over time. We're going to be getting started this year with cohort 2. So we're very excited to be moving this and learn much more about those student outcomes while they're in school, as they're moving out of school, as well as teacher outcomes, and trying to think about what it looks like when you're using a technology-based self-determination instruction model and a teacher-delivered instructional model, and the implications this has for aspects of fidelity, like the quality of delivery, as well as for other factors that can really inform teachers and let them pick the best approaches for their students and their classrooms. So we'll look forward to sharing more with you as this project continues to move forward and as we learn more about ways to support self-determination self-determination through technology. You can definitely get more information about the SDLMI, the GSC app, and other ways that KUCD and our large team works to support self-determination on our website or through any of our social media channels. And I'll just close by saying thank you. I'm lucky to be here speaking on behalf of the entire KUCD team, but this is a team effort in collaboration with a lot of schools and a lot of other partners across the country. And also thank you to CIDL for highlighting and sharing this work. Thank you very much for your time.